It's 38 minutes after the hour on mornings, and we're having fun talking to Amy Wallace about her new novel. It's hot off the presses. It's called Healing Promises, and we got somebody who's been holding, for 16 minutes, so we got to get to her, but we got David up with you now, Amy, your husband, and we want to show everybody his beautiful tie that has your book cover on it.
And talk about promotion. You've got puzzles, you've got chocolate, you've got ties, you've got everything.
And it was David's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, David. Yeah. He didn't want to talk, but we'll talk about him later. Yeah.
We can.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, David. Let's go to Gloria from Texas. Hi, Gloria.
Hi.
Thanks.
How are you?
God bless y'all.
Well, God bless you. Thanks for being so patient. What's your question for Amy?
What I wanted to ask Amy was, what was the event that changed her life, or what was, you know how everybody has a God moment, what was the catalyst that started her writing, that motivated her?
I think the catalyst that motivated me, especially to write these series, was 9/11. I sat with everybody else in America and watched what happened and cried and prayed and wanted to give back to the people that I saw. You know, you can take cookies to the police officers, you can take, a meal to the firefighters. You can't really walk to an FBI field agent and say, hey, here's, this.
Here's some bullets.
Yeah, here's this. So I really wanted to give back to them, and when God put the idea of writing a book on my heart, I just took it and went, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
Wow. Have you had reaction from police officers and FBI officers?
I have. I've had friends tell me I actually had a friend the book is set in D.C. I had a friend in Falls Church who was in a post office line mailing a book. She's another author, and the lady in front of her, they just got to talking, and they started talking about books, and she mentioned my book. Now, mind you, this was a couple months before my first book came out, so I was curious. I'm like, oh, does she work at a bookstore? And my friend said, no, she's a CIA agent.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. And I said, did she like it? She goes, oh, it was fantastic. Oh, good. Thank you, God.
Well, that's a great question, Gloria. We're going to send you a copy of Amy's book.
Thank you so much, and thank you for talking to me, Amy.
I really like the way you weave minor characters through the book to bring out your faith. Frank was a great character. Lucy was a great character. And even to some extent, can't come up with her name. But you had these minor characters Marilyn, the
Yes.
friend, who constantly reinvigorated, particularly Sarah when she doubted her faith, and Clint to a lesser extent. But these characters came through to kind of re-energize her and her faith.
Well, it's part of our job as writers to make every character kind of get up off the page and breathe. And so I get to know these people. I do character sheets. I love watching the interaction. And we go through 4 stages of editing before this book hits the press. So I get to know these people really well. And I really want to bring out their story. They each have a purpose. So I think that makes them come alive.
I think everybody knows of Frank, a person who struggled with the disease and succumbed to it. And a person like Lucy, people who struggle with disease and overcome it, and they're both inspiring in their own way.
Lucy's actually a friend of mine
Really?
that struggled with cancer. I had 2 friends at the same time that were going through different cancers, and they were both play a big role in the book.
Wow.
So.
Now, you actually went and spent the night in jail to understand, was this to understand the mind of the criminal? What happened here?
I didn't spend the night in jail, and I wasn't arrested, I promise. I actually was part of a Citizens Police Academy. Gwinnett County, where we live, does a Citizens Police Academy to help community relations, to let you know what the police officers do. So when you call them and complain that your cat, they can't come get your cat out of the tree, you know that they're dealing with a homicide, not that they're sitting there drinking coffee. So we actually had to tour the jail, and we got locked in. And that was probably one of the most frightening experiences. Yeah, they did it on purpose. Not because I pushed the wrong button. We actually went to the cages, no, not cages, but we got put in the cells. There you go. They felt like cages. Because the bars, and there was one point, and it actually ended up being part of Ransom Dreams. One of the characters in that story goes to the jail on High Hope and has to experience that. And it was great to add depth and to add what she really would feel, because I sat there in between these 2 huge glass doors going, I'm stuck. This is a terrible feeling. Yeah. So it was good to have that experience, to be able to put that into a story.
We haven't really talked about one whole aspect of your book, which is there's a child molester going on.
Serial kidnapper.
Yeah, and
it's
kind of some perversion stuff. As a mother to 3 little girls, how do you write that kind of stuff?
The one thing that kept me going in writing the serial killer's point of view was that if I do this well, moms are going to go, oh, I can protect my kid this way. I can get into them. You know, I had to study these people, so I kind of learned some of their tricks of the trade, and I wanted to portray that so parents would be on their guard, because there are still people out there that do that. Now, they're not always at the park, they're online too. But my hope was, and that's what kept me going in writing it, that if I write this person well and believable, the parents will pay attention and go, I'm going to keep my kids safe. This is important.
But you also showed the ultimate vulnerability. You know, Sarah thinks she's running to save her kid, and she gets knocked cold. Hannah turns her back, and the kids are, you know, off somewhere. So, you know, it's important to be reminded that, you know, you can never be too vigilant, and, you know, and God is in control, because no matter how vigilant you are, these things can happen. These were people who knew that, you know, their husband's position in life put them at some risk. You know, there were some threats made along during the book. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, one of the hardest things we as writers have to do is we have to keep throwing rocks at the characters. And I really didn't want to do that, but I knew that needed to be part of the story, because it was about a mom's greatest and a dad's greatest fear. I think in each of the books deal with one of the parents' greatest fears.